All right. So, hello to whoever's watching. This is sort of a special impromptu live just to kind of debrief on what happened over the last 24 hours with um, Snakes Media and kind of sort of being in the same room with Jamie, but not being able to talk to each other, which was really weird. Um, so, yeah, and I was hoping to be able to do this with Jamie, but I'm so exhausted and I kind of want to get this out of the way before I forget certain details. And y'all can kind of ask me anything about my experience with this production. And yeah, I mean, I'm an open book. I did sign some documents. Okay, so the Clown Archives is asking me, did I meet Jamie? Not exactly, because we were in the same room, but I didn't realize we were in the same room until I had already walked by her. And then when somebody told me she was right around the corner, I was like, oh no, 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 no. I just want to leave this stuff for her because I brought her some gifts and everything. And like she babysat Boba for me. So um and now he's back, but she took the We These People hoodie with her. Um so I didn't get to meet her, but we were within like probably 10 feet of each other at one point, and then we were just like in constant communication, and then we just kept missing each other um, throughout the day. So no, we still have not met face to face. Oh, hey, Kaleidoscope, good to see you. So, but like she was there with the people from Hot Snakes, like kind of having a meeting as I walked past to leave off the stuff that I had brought for her. Oh, and she took baby reindeer with her. She took Donnie with her. So Donnie is now living with the rest of Jamie's animals in Georgia, hopefully, because I haven't even heard that she got back home safely. So, but yeah, I mean, it was just like it's been really horrible heat here in Massachusetts over the last several days, and my air conditioning is not working, and so I was barely able to sleep Tuesday night, last night. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't sleep that well Monday night either, just because I was having anxiety about the heat wave coming up and about knowing that Hot Snake was coming down and about knowing that Jamie was coming down and all this kind of stuff. And I just had a lot of anxiety about it. I kept trying to pull out of it. Like I really was trying to find every possible excuse to not go forward. And then after Jamie's interview was done, I was like, oh great, so we got Jamie, and like I can just say, look, whatever Jamie says is fine, but they really, 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 really pushed hard, and Jamie really pushed hard to get me to like agree to interview with them. And I was supposed to be interviewing. Originally, it was supposed to be on Monday, then they pushed it to Wednesday, and then it was supposed to be sometime after 10 a.m. And then it was to start at 3, and then it was to start at 4. And I was just like, I was so frustrated. And so it ended up, I think we started at like 7:30 and finished around 10:30. Um, but parts of it were, I think, really good. The big thing that was not good was I stank. I looked like crap. It was awful. It was hot. It was nasty. They kept telling me, "Oh, this place is so air conditioned." Well, then they decided to turn the air conditioning off for the sound reasons. So I'm like sitting there, like literally sweating with like lights and the camera like literally in my face, and it was just really weird. Like they kind of started saying some things about things that they wanted to shoot specifically because of like how it would sort of mimic some of the things that happened in their interview with BJ. So like I really want to think this is going to be balanced in some way. They pretty much convinced me that if I didn't interview, that it was only going to be like that they have no one else that's speaking on BJ's behalf, which I find quite ridiculously unbelievable considering how many hundreds of thousands of people support BJ. So that was kind of weird. Like that really kind of raised some red flags with me. Um, and then the thing with the feet, I mean, I literally joked. I'm like, what is Dan Snyder working with y'all or something? Because they kept like literally like filming my feet. It was so weird. And I think I was so exhausted by the point they started doing it that I, under any other and I was also isolated. I was like out in this like property that was like very off the beaten path. It's like a winery. Um, Originally was supposed to do it at my apartment, but I kind of didn't like that for a few reasons, but primarily because the air conditioning still wasn't on, so it was going to be even hotter in my apartment than it was at this winery. And oh, they had me like walking outside. It just, you know, think back on it, it just really was. I just don't know how they're gonna put all this together unless they're doing it to just make me look like the buffoon that 99% of the internet thinks I am, which is fine. I'm already dealing with that. You know, they kept saying like this is gonna reach over 1 million people. Like I left, you know, like so yeah, like I'm not gonna say I'm traumatized by it, but yeah, I'm traumatized by it. I pretty much get traumatized by everything, but this was some bringing up some multiple sort of threads of trauma for me. Um, yeah, it was like it's a it's a property that I didn't even know existed, and it's like in the next town over from where I live. But it's like an Airbnb, but it's like an old historic vineyard. So when I say winery, like they do make wine there, but it's like a vineyard. Um, and it was just a beautiful property, but I didn't get there till like dusk. So I think Jamie said she really enjoyed it during the day, even though it was hot. Like there was a pool there. I don't think she actually used the pool, but like she could sit out by the pool and everything. So it was a very fancy property. It looked like the kind of place where you could have like a small wedding, you know, like maybe, I don't know, like 50 people or something. Um, but it had multiple studio apartment units in the sort of historic buildings. So it was a really cool space. Um, but I mean, they had it all staged specifically for the cameras. And like I said, they had to turn the air conditioning off. So they like lured me there saying, it's so nice and cool here. Come on, come, please, 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 please. I get there. And then like one of the first things they do is turn off the air conditioning. I'm like sitting there without even a glass of water, like being grilled on all these like intense things about Bam, about Amanda, about Dahlia and Dia, about BJ, about Lima, about the Discord server. Like, I mean, it was wild. So yeah, I mean, I only see one question from Kaleidoscope. I do not see Jamie in the chat. Um, Jamie, if you watch this, I hope you're okay. So yeah, I mean, if nobody has any further questions, I guess I've kind of at least gotten the brain dump. But yeah, the foot thing was so weird because they were like, "Oh, well, we've been BJ." She like walked through and she sat down and she kicked off her Crocs and she like curled her feet up under her, you know, like she crossed her legs under herself. And they're like, "We're not going to ask you to do that." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "This is." I was just like, "This is crazy." But I had on and still have on the next day. I mean, I take them off to go to sleep, obviously, for like 2 hours. But there's a pair of sandals that were a donation back when I was homeless. Probably I got them in, I want to say 2016. Yeah. And I still have them 8 years later. So I don't know what made me wear those particular shoes yesterday because I don't have any single other items that I've had since like the time when I was homeless. Besides that, you know what I mean? Like no clothing item. I'm gonna have like some photographs or something like that, but the only clothing item I still have is these pair of shoes. And I didn't even know much about this pair of sandals, but I kind of they were like I said, they were a donation at this place I used to go to down in Cambridge when I was homeless. And then I I left them at this like sober house that I had gone to and left, and then came back a year later. And the lady at the sober house, whatever, she's like, "Oh, I think I might have left these here." It was like the spare sandals, and I googled them after that just to see like what the brand was, and they're, I guess, like when you buy this type of, I forget what they're even called, but when you buy this brand new, they're like well over $100 for the pair of sandals. So I was very blessed to get them when I was homeless, because especially when you're homeless, whether it's winter or summer, you need like a decent pair of shoes because you're walking all the time. And yesterday kind of felt like that because I was like out of my apartment all day just walking around because it was so freaking hot. And so, yeah, so they just kept like zoning in on my feet. And I was like, why? What is with the feet? It was just really wild. Um, okay. So specific questions, they asked, how did I first start following BJ? What is it about BJ that makes me so passionate about the causes that she brings to attention on her channel? What's my role in the free BAM movement? I talked about the whole Bam and Dahlia catchphrase, how it's Bam with Amanda in the middle and then Dahlia. And they're like, oh, we never even realized that. We know that was your email, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And I was like trying to explain them, like I had a whole logo for it and everything. And what else? Oh, it was weird because there was one person that was asking me a lot of the questions, and then there were two other people that kind of jumped in with follow-up questions, I guess you would say. They were kind of comparing notes about, things that they thought she had. Anyway, then there were some different questions from different people. And that's when it got really, that's when I really felt the pressure to choose my words as carefully as possible. Because one of the questions was, something to the effect of, they asked me about BJ's fans like allegedly attacking Lima or whatever. I said I don't know any person that's ever been in the same room with Lima from BJ's fans. I said what I do know is that long before BJ or I or anybody that probably follows BJ's channel had ever heard of Lima, she was yapping the same nonsense on Soft White Underbelly, saying, oh, it's the death threats and the this and the that. I said, that sounds like a Lima problem to me. That doesn't sound like a BJ's fans problem. Okay. She's gone on Soft White Underbelly, people didn't like her. She's probably gone on Adam 22, people didn't like her. She's being covered by BJ, people don't like her. Like, maybe people just don't like you enough. And they like asked me, well, what do you think Lima should do, like from this point forward? I said, I don't know, maybe Epstein's Island's available. She can go live there and do whatever the hell she does. I said, I don't know. I just don't want to live in the same country as her. I don't want to, I just don't want, I don't want to live in a world where she has that kind of power over taking over other people's lives. It doesn't work for me. Like, it's not part of my worldview. Like, and then they kind of like came back like, oh, so, like, because I said I want Lima to stop the harm she's caused other people. I said, and maybe if she stopped harming other people, fewer people would want to harm her. And they kind of came back on that, like, oh, do you think it's okay for people to want to harm her? And I was like, no. I said, I don't. However, she's going to keep making enemies if she keeps doing the stuff that she's been doing. Like, it's not about BJ. It's about Bam. It's about Amanda. It's about her sisters. Like, people don't like to see this woman ruining other people's lives. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I like that was right at my top of my mind about the Soft White Underbelly stuff, Did they mention the twins or Lima? They mentioned Lima a lot. They really didn't mention the twins at all, but they said something like, what do you, they said something, they asked me like what I thought about the twins. I said, honestly, I said, I hope I'm wrong, but logic tells me that one or both of them are no longer with us. I said, allegedly, one of them was arrested a couple months ago, but I've seen no booking, no court documents, no nothing around that. So it's kind of like when Dahlia back in Oklahoma, like 4 months after the body cam footage, all of a sudden the court stuff was supposed to happen about the alleged assault against Linda, and then that never happened. So I was just like, yeah, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't feel like, in my gut and in my logical brain, I feel like one or both of them is no longer, and they're just kind of biding time until this whole court thing. And they asked me not only about BJ's court stuff, but about my court stuff that kind of stems from that Discord server. And I asked them point blank if they had talked to High Priestess Steph, and they said no, but I don't know. I mean, they could have been technically telling me the truth, but maybe someone else from there, because that's a pretty big company. Like, so the people that interviewed me are not the same people that interviewed BJ or something. So, and then the people that interviewed Lima are probably not the same people that interviewed either me or BJ. And the president of Hot Snakes, not the owner, so there's co-owners, that's a married couple, the Evangelistas, Shannon and Eric. And then the next in line is this lady, Holmes was her last name. She was at Lima's birthday party with Mark Leda, the couple that owns the Film Institute or whatever, Albert Monero Jr., who else? Was Nikki Boyd there? Like, Mark Leda, I probably already said that. I mean, so they keep telling me it's going to be both sides, and they keep telling me that's why it's so important for BJ supporters to be included and all that. But, they lost me with the foot stuff at the end. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. The feet thing does not make any sense. And in fact, it seems like a mockery of the whole Dan Schneider thing. And I think it's way too soon for me to be making jokes about that, even though I had to just in the moment because it felt so weird. And they were also like really close up. The camera guy was like really close up on my chest because he wanted to get the wording on like what was across my shirt. It felt really violent, really physically violating. But again, I was there by myself in the middle of nowhere with two men and two women surrounding me. So it wasn't like I could get out of there. It was dark. It was late. It was late at night. Like I just did what they said and waited for the Uber to arrive. So yeah. Why are they even bothering with the Discord server? It's so dumb. LOL, they should be focusing on Dahlia and Dia. Well, because I'm 99% certain that at least one of the members of Steph's and my Discord was a cover for Hot Snakes. There were a couple different accounts that both Steph and I have identified as trolls. And by trolls, we just mean people that never spoke, never unmuted, never turned their camera on. So there's a few accounts that, from watching Steph's and Sophie's videos and then cross-checking with my notes, like there's a few accounts that I let in from her server because they were supposedly already pre-vetted by Steph, which turns out to not be true. And then I just automatically let them into my server because that was my only criteria, was if you were already in Steph's server and you weren't a mod, you come into my server, because I didn't want people to be moderated. I wanted people to be able to like share ideas freely without having people say, oh, well, that belongs in this thread and this belongs in that thread and blah, 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 blah. So I think both my server and Steph's were infiltrated by either Hot Snakes itself or by someone from Lima's inner circle, or both. So that's, I think, why the Discord, because the Discord had come up significantly in Jamie's interview, because the quote unquote bullying in the Discord is Jamie's rationale for why she switched sides from BJ to Lima temporarily, because she felt like Nola Lola was bullying people and she felt like BJ was ignoring that. Well, come to find out, Steph and Sophie and Nola Lola said that I was catfishing people and BJ ignored that. So everybody's trying to come to BJ to solve their interpersonal problems. And it's like, again, like Kaleidoscope said, what does any of this have to do with Dahlia, Dia, Bam, Amanda, etc.? Nothing. It was all just a distraction, in my opinion. And obviously, I cannot speak for BJ, but she has said publicly, you know, she had nothing to do with Discord. And yet, Nola Lola keeps coming back with all these digs like, but she's a mod in the server that I'm in. Like, people can be a mod in a server and not have been in that server for 2 years. You know, like I'm probably a mod in some server I joined 5 years ago, but I don't go on Discord. So it's like, it's just a, I don't know if a straw man argument is the right thing. It's just like it's just a pointless comeback for somebody who's desperate to try to justify unjustifiable things that they've done, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, good to see you, Kaleidoscope. And again, kind of how the Bam and Dahlia server was, I don't have mods anymore. So everybody's in gray now. No wrenches, no wrenches needed anymore. So people can, you know, speak freely and not be targeted because they have a wrench, because I guess that's a thing, which I didn't realize, but that's another thing Lola has been pointing out. They cloned me because of my wrench. And Brennan, you know, like, somebody got their wrench taken away. It's just, it's, I would say it's like schoolgirl drama, but it's worse than that. It's like middle-aged woman drama. You know what I mean? Because 40 plus is middle age. So, you know, just saying. I'm not the only middle-aged person, it, and I just think all this whole Discord, I'm sorry, not Discord, well, both Discord and the whole YouTube moderator status battles is just shameful, to be honest. So yeah, I will say that 90% of what I talked with Hot Tanks about was all very human rights related and very much from my lived experience and what motivates me, you know, and then 10% of it was kind of just like, well, tell us about the headbands and tell us about the what was that surprise army? And I was like straight up front, I said, I never heard the words that surprise army out of BJ's mouth. I said, apparently Steph coined the term and Nima screenshot that and threw it in the next lawsuit. And so that's kind of how that surprise army got on the map. I said, the Discord server was called that surprise army, then they rebranded it. I said, but BJ in no way ever endorsed that surprise army. Never, not once. And I said that pretty forcefully because they tried to say, well, tell us how you joined BJ's army. I'm like, BJ doesn't have an army. So yeah. It's okay. I don't want to be fine. I know you don't, Kaleidoscope. It's a lot of pressure to be a mod for anybody, much less someone like me. Oh, absolutely, Kaleidoscope. And each and every one of my prior people that have had wrenches, including Bonnie the bully, I gave a wrench for a minute. You know, I'm an equal opportunity employer. But the only one I paid was Nola Lola, and sheesh, she didn't even have the 25 bucks in her hand before the knife was in my back. But anyhow, that's all water under the bridge. I hope she spent that $25 wisely. Um, so yeah, each and every one of y'all has reached out to me with, you know, tactful suggestions for how I might phrase things differently and avoid certain pitfalls. And I respect every single person who does that. But, you know, for better for worse, Bonnie's gonna Bonnie, which is why I don't want anybody having to answer for me but me. So equal opportunity employer. Yes. I'll I'll hand anyone a wrench. But what happens after that, you're on your own. All right. Well, I appreciate the three watching. Um, sorry I wasn't live this morning or yesterday. I just was having crazy issues with my laptop. It seems to work better when I use Zoom. I just don't know how to set it in advance and use Zoom on the day. Like that's something I haven't figured out. But yeah, if any other questions, please ask. I'll give it like 3 more minutes, and if nobody has questions, I guess I'll say enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Anything else going on that I would have kind of not noticed because I was so busy yesterday running around with the stuff? Anything else, like any news from court, any news about the twins, any BAM news? Kaleidoscope, I'm wondering if the other two people watching besides you are from Hot Snakes. Did they grill you on anything or confirm anyone else interviewing? Let me think that through. They did seem to grill me on the accusations about people uh, harassing Lima. And I said, I don't know anybody that's personally been in the same room as Lima. I said, I mean, as far as I know, Jamie hasn't been in the same room as Lima. I said, I don't know about Brennan, but um, I said, I don't even know if it's true that Brennan went to the Oklahoma apartments. I just know she was bragging about it. I said, I do not have any personal knowledge of anybody contacting Lima or anything. I said, I did admit that I had put some messages on her Facebook page way back when, and then more recently, like I had posted on Lima's Facebook page in like September of 2022, and then I posted again in September of 2023, and I don't believe I have since then. Um, and I said, even though BJ told me not to, I went ahead and did it because there are questions I have for Lima that BJ might not want to ask her, but I feel like I need to know the answers. And so, BJ's not my mom, and I'm not BJ's mom. And as much as I respect BJ, I'm going to do what I think I need to do. Same way I just was talking about all of y'all who said, well, maybe Bonnie, you should maybe do it this way, or people might take this way. It's not that I don't listen. It's that I have to go with what I feel is going to move things forward for the particular mission I have, which is not the same as anybody else's mission on this earth. There are things that matter a lot to people that I'm very close to that I could not care less about. And there are things that matter profusely to me that other people are just like, we don't even know what the hell you're talking about, Bonnie. So, I think the people I respect the most are the people with whom I am truly able to respectfully disagree at times. And yet we still meet in the middle. And that goes for you, Kaleidoscope, that goes for you, Clown Archives, and that certainly goes for me and Jamie. But I'm getting really worried that she hasn't shown up yet because last I heard, she had just gone through security at Boston Airport trying to make her way back home. But she had a connecting flight, and I haven't heard from her anything since. So maybe she blocked me again. Maybe Lima was on the plane with her and she blocked me. I don't know. That would be a plot twist. Wait. Did they ask about the ICP, FBI, or Washington? They did ask about the Washington restraining order, yes. They didn't ask about ICP or FBI. No, they did not. But they did ask about the Washington restraining order, and I answered truthfully. So, and maybe that means they've already interviewed the petitioner in that Washington restraining order since they wanted to talk about that. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I mean, if this is the Free BAM documentary, I guess they'd be wanting to interview people who are like, skateboarders that might have been inspired by BAM. Just a thought. I do not have that on any authority. That was just kind of something that popped into my head right when I read the Clown Archives question. Did they interview the Brinnans? You mean the Brinians? Nobody's saying. All I know is the biggest Brinian, in the bunch was on earlier in my chat and said something like, "So you were the hot snake all along." I'm like, they didn't reach out to me until like 23 days ago after Brennan said she was going to be away and wasn't going to interview with them. So has that changed? I don't know. Jamie has some theories on that. Hopefully she'll go live at some point on her channel to talk about her theories about Brennan and the Brinians and Lima and the lemurs. I don't know. Lima and the lemmings. I don't know. Maybe Shannonography and Brian will be in a doc. That's I would say that's highly likely. Yes, especially since they are longtime, witnesses for Lima. Oh, they asked me. They asked me if I thought Lima was the devil. I said, I don't think any single person is the devil. I said most of Lima's actions and beliefs in my mind are pretty diabolical, but I don't call any individual the devil. Can't get over the thing with the feet. Oh. All right. Well, I guess the sound is okay. I know the account formerly known as Base Girl told me earlier that that I was garbled on one of my prior video uploads. So yeah, the feet thing is just very weird, especially coming off the heels, bump of the Dan Schneider travesty. I mean, would we put it past Lima to collaborate with Dan Schneider? Hell no. I mean, Mark Leda, Adam 22, Dan Schneider, the holy unholy trinity. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I hope they interviewed Ivan. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope they interviewed Ivan for this docuseries. Let Ivan speak. And not that I'm saying. I know one time I called Ivan a zaddy. That was very premature. That was just for shits and giggles to call him that. I guess I just don't really know anything about him, and I think there's so much fear around so many people of Serbian descent. But as with any other ethnicity, it's very dangerous to start labeling everyone because they come from a certain culture, labeling them as having the sort of worst aspects of that culture without any of the good ones, you know? So I would really love to hear Ivan's side of things. And it sounds like they did their most recent interview with Lima pretty quickly after Ivan filed for separation. Oh, Mark, wait a minute. You know what? It's crazy because that I was having flashes of that video that Go Do Your Own Research just put out where Mark is like in the face with the camera. Like that's what it felt like. It was just like these two cameras with I guess there was only one man behind the two cameras, but then there was another man standing by kind of directing everything. And I just felt like really like violated. You know, I was fully clothed, but I don't think they mentioned the divorce. I think I mentioned it in passing, but I didn't ask them about it. I just kind of referenced that as part of like a timeline that I was using to answer another question that I forget which one it was. So. And as far as just to wrap this up, as uncomfortable as it was, it's not that I wouldn't do the interview again or wouldn't do it again, you know, if they asked for a follow up interview or anything like that. I would just negotiate my terms a lot better than I did this time. You know, I think I was just like super easygoing, like, yeah, sure, I'll do it if it's, you know, if it's going to help. Like, what can it hurt? Right. Well, the answer is it could hurt me. And then if I'm hurting when I'm doing this interview, it's not going to be a help to me or anyone else to get my voice out there if I'm not like having my best day. And yesterday was like not only not my best day, but like close to my worst day in the last 10 years. So I went ahead and did it anyway. But, you know, will I want to watch it when it comes out? Probably not. I'm hoping that by the time it comes out, like all of us that are and have continued to be team autonomy will be so far focused on something so much bigger than a Hot Snakes docu series that we'll all be like, oh wait, when's that coming on again? Because it's just, you know, this is a human rights issue. And can a series like this help amplify the human rights issues? Yes. Can it pervert the narrative? Yes. Can it do both at the same time? Maybe. I guess we'll see. Could be a clown show for getting Ivan off the hook of BJ's court money. True that. When will it be coming out? They just said 2025. So I don't know if that means January 2025 or December 2025. But 2025 is again when BJ when Lima needs to when BBHMM for those fees that she owes the 87,000. Did y'all see Jamie's parody BBHMM? Oh Lord. Did y'all see the picture of Jamie with the puffball headband I gave her and with Boba with the she called I had bought this mug for BJ that I never sent to BJ and it says born to be queen on it. It's like this giant mug, like like it's a coffee mug, shaped like a coffee mug, but like it would probably fit like 8 cups of coffee in it, you know, is that big of a mug. And I had baby reindeer sitting in it. I had Donnie sitting in the mug. And when Jamie got it from the hotel guy who brought it over to her, she's sitting with the hot drinks people. And I guess Jamie goes, "Oh, wow, it's a mega pint." Because she was like referencing the Johnny Depp thing. And they didn't get it at first, but then they got it. It's funny. Jamie's a very funny lady. So yeah. So baby reindeer and the mega pint are baby Donnie reindeer and the mega pints are now hopefully wherever Jamie is, wherever that might be. I don't know. Maybe I did sign an NDA, but what are they going to do? Sue me for what? They're going to try to take custody of Boba from me. They were so much. They were like, oh, they're like, I wish we could get Boba in the video. I wish we could get Boba in the video. I'm like, nope. He's got an Ed Sheeran T-shirt on, and this is a Sitco logo. You're like that would totally violate the terms of your Max stuff. I guess they could have blurred it out, but whatever. Oh, is that a unicorn? Cute clown archives. I know. They're gonna fight me for custody of Boba. Do you think I should start doing a little like gossipy kind of segment called Bonnie and Boba tea? You know what I mean? Like tea, like spilling the tea. Just a thought. All right, y'all. Well, it's been 45 minutes. Jamie hasn't shown up and my battery's about to die. So I'm gonna say goodbye. But Jamie, if you ever watch this, love to hear your thoughts. Thanks, y'all. Bye now. Teddy bear protection service. All right. See y'all later. Bye.